If I had a dime for every time running a Facebook ad account made me want to smash my head against a wall, I'd probably have enough money to buy an actual coffee cup. Look, running Facebook ads in 2024 can be extremely difficult, challenging, and time consuming to say the least. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you should be structuring your Facebook ad account in 2024, depending on how much you're spending, for the maximum ROI and the least headaches. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, who am I and why should you be listening? Well, over the last 6 years, I've generated over $60 million in Facebook ad revenue for my e-commerce clients. And here's just a couple of results on screen to show you the pudding or the proof. So this brand, we helped scale from $84,000 to over $180,000 in just 5 months. We helped the jewelry brand go from $1.3 million to over $2.4 million in 8 months. We helped a clothing brand scale from $500,000 a month to over $2 million per month. And one of my best case studies of all time, we scaled this brand from $5.4 million in February all the way up to $18 million in a single month. So make sure you stick around until the end of this video because I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to structure your Meta ad account depending on how much you're currently spending. So I have campaign buildouts for if you're spending under 3K, 3 to 10K, 10 to 30K, and then lastly, 30 to 100K per month. So let's go back up to the top. And as a warning, do not build the 100K plus build if you are under $3,000, obviously, because you are going to significantly hurt your chances of being successful in the Meta ad accounts. Stick to the spend thresholds and build the corresponding campaign. So if you're under $3,000 per month in spend, meaning you're spending less than $100 per day on Facebook ads, there's going to be 2 campaign structures that I have for you to build out. And they depend on how your business model is structured. So if you're already currently making sales and you're looking to add Facebook ads as an additional channel to drive more traffic to your site, then I want you to build what is called an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. Now, for those of you that don't know, Advantage Plus is basically Meta's latest flagship product, and you can think of it as a way to streamline the entire advertising process and make it as simple as possible. There is no targeting interest groups or lookalikes inside of Advantage Plus. All of the work is done on the creative. You basically give Meta a whole bunch of creatives. It's going to mix and match combinations based on the ones most likely to make people convert, and then drive conversions accordingly. And that campaign is best for low budget accounts because at a low budget, you really don't have any business creating more than one campaign in your ad account. So might as well stick with the one that's most streamlined and optimized for success on a low budget. Now that is if you are already making sales, meaning you're driving traffic organically. Maybe you have a Google ad account working well. Maybe you're driving traffic with Pinterest, whatever the case may be. If you're already making sales on your store or your business, then build Advantage Plus. Now, if you're under $3,000 per day in budget and you are either driving no sales, meaning it's a brand new account and brand new business, or you are drop shipping. So if you're someone who's drop shipping and looking to transition into a full-on brand, then I want you to build an ABO cost cap campaign. And we're going to use cost caps. And if you don't know what cost caps are, it's basically a way for you to tell Meta to only get you conversions at a certain cost target. So we're going to use the cost cap campaign to eliminate our downside and minimize risk as much as possible. Now you might be wondering, why do we use cost caps on one setup and Advantage Plus on the other? Well, cost caps are really only good if you're someone who doesn't have a ton of budget, you're not driving a ton of traffic from other channels, and you're looking to just test and see if you can find something that's actually working. The problem with cost caps is they're very, very difficult to spend and scale up because Meta will absolutely not spend unless you are going to get conversions at that target. And if you set the cost cap low enough, you might not get any delivery at all. Now, it's great if you are drop shipping or you're brand new with your business because you can test things en masse with little to no risk and you can see what works. The downside is the creatives fatigue extremely fast on a cost cap campaign. We run Advantage Plus because eventually we want to get you over to running Advantage Plus and lowest cost bidding strategies because those are most ideal and optimal for actually growing your business, especially when you start to add on other channels. But if you're not doing any sales or you're dropshipping, cost caps are the best way, the most cost effective and least risky way to be able to test things as much as possible without any downside. So you're going to create an ABO cost cap campaign, you're going to have a single ad set, and you're just going to continually dump creatives into this campaign and ad set until you get delivery and conversions. And you're going to set the cost cap at break even. So you're going to find your break even cost per purchase. You're going to subtract your revenue minus your cost of goods, and whatever is left over, that is your cost cap. And you continually test until you get delivery at your break even cap. All right, so I'm inside of the ads manager. Let's go ahead and build out the first campaign, which is an Advantage Plus campaign. We're gonna go over here and press create. We're gonna choose sales. We're gonna continue. Okay, then Meta's gonna give us the choice between Advantage Plus and manual sales. Stick with Advantage Plus. And then we're very simply gonna call this prospecting ASC. Okay, prospecting ASC, very, very simple. As we're going through the setup, you're gonna notice there's a lot fewer controls in Advantage Plus. So we're gonna make sure this is set to website, maximize number of conversions. We're gonna make sure our pixel is selected and the conversion event is set to purchase. When we scroll down, we're not gonna do anything in the audience location unless we can sell to other countries. So if you sell in the US and Canada, go ahead and throw Canada in here as well. Select the countries that you sell in and scroll all the way down. For our daily budget, we're gonna set this to $100 per day. Then we're gonna keep scrolling down, and that is literally it. So we are completely set up here. We're then gonna click next, and this is gonna take us into the creative side of the campaign. So we're gonna start adding in additional ads into this Advantage Plus, and very simply, just call that ad one. We're gonna scroll down, make sure you have your Facebook page selected. Make sure you uncheck multi-advertiser ads, and make sure your format is set to single image or video. From there, we're gonna go to setup creative. We're gonna add in as many creatives as we have in the launch. So let's say I have 5 creatives I want to test. Then I'm going to start by adding in my first creative. Say I want to go with this one here. You can leave it in original. I skip and continue on the AI stuff. And the Advantage Plus creative optimizations, it's very important that you turn these off. They don't have a meaningful impact on performance. They more often not just make your creative look uglier than it otherwise would be, and just kind of make it look like crap, to be honest. So once you have your actual image or video loaded in, primary text, you're gonna add in your ad copy. So I'm just gonna put ad copy. And then for your headline, you add in your headline. Call to action, you're gonna switch this over to Shop Now. And then for your URL, just make sure that you have your website URL placed in there as so. And if you're using a third-party tool like Triple Whale or Northbeam, you can add in your URL parameters here so that data is feeding back into the platform. But that is literally how you create the Advantage Plus campaign and how you create the ad inside the campaign. If you have additional creatives, what I would do is just click the 3 dots here under Ad 1, and then I would duplicate this just like so, and then I would change this to say Ad 2. And then I'll hit the trash icon, go to Add Image again, go back to Add Media, and then I'm gonna throw on my second creative. Okay, same rules apply. Make sure you have the Advantage Plus optimizations turned off. Press done. And once you've added in all of your creatives, you can now press publish, and congrats, you've just published your Advantage Plus shopping campaign. All right, now I'm gonna show you how to build out the prospecting ABO cost cap campaign, which is the version you're gonna run if you're dropshipping or you have not made a sale yet on your Shopify store. So we're gonna do create again, sales, continue. And then this time we're gonna do a manual sales campaign. And we're gonna call this one prospecting ABO cost cap. Then we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna leave all of these settings off. So Advantage budget, A/B test, catalog ads, leave everything off. And then we're gonna go ahead and press next. Then in the ad set, we're gonna make sure that this is called our targeting option. We're gonna call it broad. We're gonna call this batch 001, so we know what creative batch this is. Or actually, we're just gonna call this broad prospecting, all ads, the countries that you're selling to, so I'm gonna say US. And then lastly, I'm gonna put the cost cap target. So scroll down, select the conversion location as the website, make sure your max conversions, pixel, make sure you select the pixel. Then from there, conversion event is set to purchase. And then where it says cost per result goal, this is where you're going to add in your cost cap or cost target. So again, going back to the previous, previously in the video. You're gonna set your cost per result goal at your break-even CPA. So take your sale price minus your cost of goods and input your break-even CPA. So let's say minus 30. And then we're gonna go back up to the name and call this 30cc for $30 cost cap. Then from there, we set our daily budget to $100. Then we go down, leave the audience controls completely as is. Only thing you're gonna change is your locations. Don't touch anything here in the audience section, and you are good to go on the ad set settings. Then from there, you're gonna click next, And then you're going to do the exact same thing we just did on the Advantage Plus campaign, which is just adding in our creative. So we'll do one ad here. Again, make sure multi-advertisers selected, or unselected rather. Add in your creative. Make sure that your Advantage Plus optimizations are turned off, just like this. And then make sure you have, ad copy here. Make sure you have your headline here. And then from there, you can change that to shop now. Okay, make sure your URL is good to go. And then again, add in your URL parameters if you're using a tracking tool. Then from there, you quickly duplicate this as many times for as many creatives that you have. Okay. And then from there, once you've added in all your creatives, you can go ahead and press publish. All right, and that is how you build out the campaigns for the under $3,000 spend tier. Let's move on to the next one. If you're in between $3,000 and $10,000 per month in spend, the campaign that I want you to build out is a CBO campaign with 2 ad sets. The reason why we're doing 2 ad sets is because at this spend threshold, you have a little bit more budget and flexibility to be testing more and more creatives. And testing more creatives and finding new winners is the primary way to scale up any Facebook campaign. So you're going to do a CBO campaign. Your first ad set is your first batch of creatives. You're going to throw in all your ads there. Then your second ad set is your second batch of creatives and throw all of your ads in there. I'll typically do anywhere from 2 to 4 of these batch test audiences and ad sets to start. But I think 2 is the baseline minimum that you should be running at any given point so you can maximize the speed of your tests and find new winners. So building out the CBO campaign is very, very simple. If you've built out the ABO campaign, you can literally just duplicate it. If not, you just create a sales campaign the exact same way we just did. Manual sales campaign. But I'm going to show you the key difference that you have to keep in mind when you're building out the CBO is firstly taking off the cost cap name and calling this a CBO campaign. Okay. And then you need to actually turn it into a CBO campaign by selecting Advantage Campaign Budget. And that basically is saying Meta is going to distribute the budget across all the ad sets depending on whichever ad set and ads within those ad sets are most likely to generate the best possible outcome, which for us in this case is conversions at the lowest cost. So set it to Advantage Campaign Budget, set it to $100 a day. And then from there, you're going to go into your second ad set, or your first ad set rather. And the only thing that you're going to change is that instead of saying all ads, you're going to call this batch 1001 because this is our first batch of creatives. So all the creatives that you add into this campaign, you're going to do so in batches. So that way you can track how many groups of creatives you're adding into the campaign at any given point in time. So this is our first batch of creatives. And let's say we have ad 1 and 2 in our first batch. So let's say I want to do a handful of images to start. For my second batch, I'm just going to quickly duplicate this. And very simply, we just call this batch 2, okay? And then that will contain my next batch of creatives. And so now I have 2 ad sets in here, completely broad targeting, no other audience settings adjusted, just completely broad, and we're letting the creative and Meta do the work for us. Okay, then once you have your 2 ad sets here, you can literally just press publish. Sorry guys, really quick, I just noticed an error. You're gonna wanna change the campaign bid strategy. Make sure this is actually on highest volume. And we do not run cost caps on the CBO setup. We're gonna run it as highest volume. So it's really important that in this setup, you understand how to actually manage and optimize it. Basically, you're launching 1 to 2 new batches of creatives as you get them out. Ideally, you're doing anywhere from 2 to 4 new batch tests every single week. The more batch tests that you do and the more creative tests that you do, the stronger and stronger this campaign will perform. So let's say we're starting out with 2 ad sets. I'm gonna let this run. I'm gonna kill whichever one is underperforming, and then that will make room for another batch test. And then whichever one is performing, you just leave that on. Don't touch it. Don't try and throw it into an ABO campaign. Don't try and scale it up in a scaling campaign. Add in new batch tests, and the ones that are working, getting spend and getting conversions at your target ROAS or target CPA, you leave those running. You leave those batch tests running, and then you just continuously add in new batch tests to find more and more creatives and continue scaling up your spend until you get past the 10,000 mark. Now, if you're between $10,000 and $30,000 in spend, we're gonna do this campaign build out here, which is a CBO campaign. And the only difference between this campaign setup and the previous one is the addition of this ad set here, which is our winners ad set. You could think of this as an ad set that's gonna contain all of the best performers from our batch tests. And we're basically creating like an Avengers squad, if you will, of the best performing ads that we want Meta to funnel spend into. So as you're doing these batch tests, you're going to create this new ad set, which is only going to contain your top performers and top spenders. And at this point, you're going to make sure that all of your spend is going at any given point in time to only your best performing ads. And when you create this ad set, you'll notice Meta is going to favor this ad set. Meta is going to favor this ad set a lot more because it has all of your best performers and those ads are approved. So creating the winners ad set is very, very simple. I'm just going to duplicate this out, which is my batch test ad set. And then from there, only thing we're going to do is change this. We're going to add in winners to the beginning and take out the batch test, just like that. So now it's winners, broad, prospecting, US. And let's say that ad number 1 from batch number 1 is my best performing creative. I will, in order to transfer this creative into the winner's ad set, do not simply duplicate the creative into that ad set. It's very important, especially if it's a winning ad, you grab the post ID of that creative, which is basically the ID of where that actual post lives, and then you bring that into the winner's ad set. And doing so is going to enable you to make sure that all of the social proof, all of the comments, the likes, the shares, everything is preserved on that creative, so that when you put it into the winner's ad set, you're keeping all of that positive engagement, which gives you cheaper CPMs and ultimately cheaper CPAs. Okay, so I'm in the ad level for one of my creatives that I want to grab the post ID from. I just click the preview here, and then I click see Facebook post with comments. From there, it's going to take you to the actual post, and then you're going to right click on the post and do view page source. And then it's going to bring up this entire like really weird looking kind of spreadsheet of different numbers and strings. Bear with me. Do Command F or Control F if you're on Windows. And we're going to look up post ID. And you're going to see the very first result is the post ID. Sometimes it's the second one or the third one. Just play around with it until you get something that actually works. Back to our CBO campaign, go back to our winner's ad set, and we're going to scroll down. And instead of create an ad, we're going to do use existing post. And then from there, we're going to go down. Then we're going to scroll. Then we're going to scroll down and do enter post ID and then paste it in just like that. And as you can see, it brings in the actual post that was made on Facebook on the 9th. And it's going to retain all that social proof and comments as well. You can't see it now, but just know that for any of your existing posts, as long as you bring in the post ID, all those comments and shares are going to be saved. Make sure you do this step when you're doing the winner's ad set, okay? And then from there, let's say I only had even one winner. I'll just delete the other creatives there. And again, this should only house your winning and high performing ads. And then from there, you're now going to have, usually at any given point in time, you should always be running your winner's ad set. And then from there, anywhere from 2 to 4 ongoing batch tests at a single given point. Okay, so we can publish that. All right, and the cadence and how you optimize and manage this account is you're still launching batch tests, but as you're launching batch tests, instead of just leaving the ad set on, when you get to a high enough spend level, it becomes more effective to take those post IDs from your batch tests and put them into their own dedicated ad set. That way Meta has a Avengers squad of different ads in one ad set that it can continuously spend into. And that's gonna make your results a lot more scalable, predictable, and consistent as well. All right, now for the fun stuff. If you are spending anywhere from $30,000 to over $100,000 per month, this is how I would structure the ad account, and this is how I've successfully structured ad accounts in this spend range and way beyond, 10x this spend range. So it is the exact same setup. You have your one campaign CBO, you've got 2 to 4 batch test ad sets running at any given point, and you have your winner's ad set. Now, to scale on top of this, you are literally just going to create this exact campaign setup, but now you're going to add in your additional product categories or additional products that you want to create dedicated campaigns for. So you can scale horizontally by adding in new products into your account, or you can start to expand into new geographies. So if you can scale, if you can ship to US and Canada, you're going to have a US campaign and you're going to have a Canada campaign. That's going to give you a lot more control over the budget. But regardless of how many things or how many new variables you want to introduce, I run this exact CBO setup, my one campaign setup with batch testing new creatives, anywhere from 2 to 4 ad sets and a winner's ad set. And I literally either run the entire account off of that setup, or I expand horizontally with the exact same campaign structure, just across different products or different categories of products or new countries. Basically, if you have a new business objective or a different business objective, let's say it's to sell more of product 2 or to sell into country number 2, you're gonna build out a new campaign and you're gonna create separate campaigns, all using this one campaign CBO setup to push those products and push those business objectives. And guys, this is literally how I scale accounts and structure campaigns in 2024. It is extremely easy and scalable to manage this setup because we're leveraging Meta to handle a lot of the grunt work that we used to do as media buyers, which was testing new audiences and lookalikes and all that good stuff. Now we're focused on 2 main things. Number 1 is the creative. So it's very imperative that you have high quality creative in order to make this setup work, because that is the main variable we're using to improve the efficiency of our campaign, so that way we can spend more. And number 2, it's very important that you understand your target metrics. So running this campaign setup is contingent upon knowing what your cost target is, or what your acquisition cost target is. Without knowing that, you're gonna be flying blind, and you're not really gonna know when to lower the budget of the campaign, when to scale up the campaign, because you don't know whether or not you're actually creating the conditions for scale or potentially creating the conditions for pulling the budget back. And trust me guys, you really do not need a more complicated setup than this. This setup is what I've been using over the last few years, and it has honestly saved me so much time and headaches, because we are really leaning into Meta. We're leveraging it to allow our ads to do the targeting and our creative to do the targeting, and we're giving Meta free reign to be able to predict where it's most likely to get conversions at a rate that you or I will never match. And this is the way and direction that media buying is evolving. So it's better for you now to get with the times and learn how to leverage these different things to your advantage, as opposed to trying to stay in the old guard. And that is gonna do it for this video. I hope I was able to make Facebook ads just a tiny bit less confusing, and hopefully you can use one of these 4 account structures depending on your spend level to be able to make more money and profit from your ads. Now, if you are an e-commerce brand that's doing over $100,000 a month in revenue and you want to have me run your ads for you and take all this completely off your plate, hit one of the first links in the description below. It's going to ask you a couple questions to see if you qualify and if we'd be a good fit. And with that, I conclude this video. Make sure you leave a like and a comment underneath, and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.